Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Death of a Unicorn, which is written and directed by Alex Scharfman and is essentially an A24 horror movie about killer unicorns. That's the simple summary of this movie, but if you want me to go into a little more detail, it follows a father and daughter, played by Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega respectively, as they go to this giant mansion out in the middle of the forest that is owned by the father's boss. He is trying to make a good impression to his boss and work his way up within the company, and the reason he brings his daughter along is because, well, they're family people, so bringing my daughter along will make a good impression. But the two of them do have a pretty rocky history, and on their way to the house, they hit an animal on the road, and it turns out that this animal is a unicorn. So they put it in their car, they go to the house, it's soon discovered that the unicorn is still alive. It ultimately dies again, but they soon find out that this was a baby unicorn that got killed. And in the words of Ian Malcolm, Mommy's very angry. When it comes to A24 horror movies, I'm always looking forward to them because there's a good chance that they're going to be incredibly unique, or better than the average horror movie. Something like Ti West's X trilogy isn't so much unique as it is just other horror movies, but done better than a lot of other horror movies. But then you have something like Y2K, which could have been a very fun teen post-apocalyptic horror comedy, but it just really wasn't. That movie was such a letdown. So when it came to this movie, Death of a Unicorn, it premiered at South by Southwest. It got really good word of mouth from South by Southwest, but once it actually got released, the reaction was more or less 50-50. Some people liked it, some people didn't, but it doesn't matter what other people think about it. What do I think about it? I personally enjoyed this movie a lot. It's not something that I'm in love with, and there are better horror movies that have come out in this year alone, but for a movie about killer unicorns, it was a lot of fun. Earlier in the video, I quoted The Lost World, and that's actually not far off from what this movie is. There is a lot of inspiration from Jurassic Park. There's the fact that you have these rich people dealing with a scientific power that they really shouldn't be capable of dealing with because it's going to blow up in their face and they're only going to use it for personal gain, to the fact that the two unicorns in this movie, the parents, are essentially the buck and doe T-Rexes from The Lost World. There's even a kill in this movie that is straight up from The Lost World, where the two T-Rexes tear Eddie Carr apart. Now, I'm not going to say who it happens to, but much like with Eddie, it happens to a character that really didn't deserve to die that way. And much like with the Jurassic Park films, the first three more specifically, this movie does a really good job at building tension. There are a lot of suspenseful sequences in this movie where the unicorns are not shown in full, they're hidden in the shadows, and they could be lurking around every corner waiting to strike. It actually does a really good job balancing all these really tense sequences with these very over-the-top kills, and the fact that it's a killer unicorn movie. Like, you cannot make something like this and expect us to take it seriously, as in like 100% dead serious. No, this movie is very much aware that it's kind of absurd, and the actors are very much aware as well. There are a handful of jokes in this movie that got a chuckle out of me. Nothing that's laugh-out-loud hilarious, but it was consistent, and the actors do a really good job. Paul Rudd is just as charming as he always is. I mean, he's Paul Rudd. Jenna Ortega is great as well, and she's probably the most likable character in this movie, in the sense that you genuinely like them. I thought the actors that played the two scientists, Steve Park and Sunita Mani, did a really good job as well. And as for Sunita Mani, I remember her from Save Yourselves, one of my favorite movies from 2020, but she was also in Everything Everywhere All at Once. She was in that movie within the movie where she had those like really weird hot dog fingers. Richard E. Grant gives a good performance, but Téa Leoni and Will Poulter are the ones that really steal the show. Téa Leoni plays the wife to Richard E. Grant, and the best way to describe her is just very snobby, stuck up, and you get the impression that she probably married him for the money. Like, she has some really monotone reactions to everything that's going on, and Will Poulter is likable in the sense that he is so unlikable. He is just that spoiled, self-entitled prick of an adult son, but he steals every scene that he's in. He thinks he's the one that knows everything that's going on. It's a very entertaining movie, and I never really found myself bored, but there are some issues with it. For one, the movie is not subtle at all when it comes to its social commentary. In fact, it's the equivalent of getting kicked in the head by a unicorn, because the main theme of this movie is sort of like with Jurassic Park, playing around with science that clearly you don't have any real interest in outside of making profit, although Jurassic Park did a much better job at this plotline than this movie did. The real bummer in this is that because the movie is so invested in exploring this plotline that has kind of been done to death, we don't really get that much time focused on the heart of the movie, which is Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. The other theme in this movie basically involves how far parents are willing to go to protect their kids. And there could have been a lot to explore with Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. I mean, the unicorns have one side of that theme covered because it's literally two unicorns trying to rescue their child and kill everyone in their way. But with Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, they start out the movie not really liking each other. We can tell that they have a very rocky relationship, and throughout the entire movie, Paul Rudd does some things that his daughter does not approve of, and vice versa. So I think the fact that these killer unicorns are after all these people, that could have made for a very fleshed out father and daughter bonding moment. And we do get snippets of that, but it's not enough to where it feels earned. So that was probably my biggest letdown of all. A lot of people have been criticizing the special effects in this film. For me, I didn't really see them as that bad. I mean, they were certainly wonky here and there, but most of the time they were convincing, and there was also a lot of great animatronic and puppet work with the unicorns. Plus, you also have to take into consideration how much this movie cost to make. It cost $15 million, and it looks pretty good for the budget, whereas you look at something like Snow White, which cost like $270 million, and a good chunk of that movie, especially when it comes to the CGI, looks like shit. So I can forgive Death of a Unicorn for some shoddy CGI because for $15 million, they did a really good job. I really did like this movie more than most people because as a killer unicorn movie, it's really fun, it's entertaining, it's got some really graphic kills, the comedy is chuckle-worthy throughout, and it's got those really weird elements that you'd expect from an A24 horror movie. So I'd say it's good, but it's not great. I can definitely read negative reviews of this movie and go, yeah, I see that, and I definitely agree with those aspects, but overall, the entertainment value of this movie just outweighed any negatives that I personally had. It's not a flawless movie, but if you're in for something that is under 2 hours and just really bizarre, I don't think you'll go wrong with Death of a Unicorn. And there you go, that's my review for Death of a Unicorn. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I want to give a special thank you to my subscribers and YouTube members right over here. You guys are the reason why this channel continues to grow every day, and if you want to help to support the channel financially, you could do so via YouTube memberships for as little as $1.99 a month. But until next time, I want to know what you guys think about Death of a Unicorn. Whatever your opinions are, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. If you want to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can find me on these social media platforms and my theme park and travel channel right here on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.